Jungkook and Jimin Back? This is something that has never been reported in the media. The whole world is busy celebrating the news of Jungkook and Jimin's return from military service. News about the two filled the main pages of the media around the world. The video of their welcome went viral on various platforms, and armies around the world thronged airports, streets, even lined up along their routes just to catch a glimpse of two long-lost figures. But behind all the euphoria and the camera glare that never ceases to follow them, it turns out that something is deliberately not shown to the public. There are special moments that only those closest to them keep. And even some of HYB's staff only found out the truth after they return. HYB staffer close to the BTS team accidentally leaked that Jungkook and Jimin had been sending secret letters to each other during their enlistment. Not just a digital message, but really a handwritten letter that they send through a personal line, something that is considered very classic in the era of technology as it is now. The letters were never published. No media knows about it. No army has ever read it. But from the small leak circulating, the contents of the letter were very moving. In one of the letters Jimin wrote, he wrote, "Jungkook, even though we are far apart, I feel like you are always standing next to me. Every step of the way, it's like you're still there. I hope you keep smiling as always, because your smile is the reason I survived." And in Jungkook's reply, he wrote, "Hyung, it's freezing in my place right now, but I feel warm every time I imagine you waiting for me. I promise to come back stronger, better, and I want to walk with you again on stage. You're not just my coworker, you're my home." The letters were never officially released. They remain part of the story that is kept in their own hearts. Some of the staff said that after returning, Jungkook and Jimin often carried the same small box, which contained the letters. They chuckled every time they opened the contents, as if they were rereading a piece of history that only the two of them knew. Even more thrilling, at their first training event after enlistment, Jimin suddenly hugged Jungkook from behind and whispered, "You're right. I found my home again." And Jungkook returned the hug with a wordless smile. That was a moment that was never shown in the media. Not because HYB forbade, but because they chose to keep it for themselves and for the army who would feel it with their hearts. Many people will probably continue to see them as global idols with solid schedules and incredible achievements. But behind it all, Jungkook and Jimin are just two best friends who take care of each other, who reinforce each other in silence, who write each other letters so as not to lose track of their hearts. Their story is not just about popularity, but about loyalty, longing, and how they found a home in each other. After the euphoria of their homecoming slowly subsides, Jungkook and Jimin's lives slowly return to the training routine they once longed for. However, something was different this time. They don't just go back to work. They return to live the days that for 2 years seemed like a distant dream. Jimin, in a closed training session, appeared to be carrying a small book with a shabby brown cover. She always kept the book in her bag. Jungkook, who saw the book in the waiting room, immediately smiled and said quietly, "You still have it, don't you?" The book was a collection of their letters during their conscription. Not only the writing, but also the scribbles of their hands, pieces of unfinished song lyrics. There is even a small picture that Jungkook made especially for Jimin. There is a page that they always open over and over again. On the page it says, "When we come back, don't change. Let's stay who we were. We are staring at each other in the middle of thousands of lights, but only looking at each other." That sentence was not only a reminder, but it had become a kind of secret promise that only they understood. Some of HYB's staff divulged that whenever they rehearsed together, Jungkook always chose to stand next to Jimin. Sometimes, when Jimin was exhausted and sat down for a while, Jungkook would stand silently beside him, giving him a drink without saying much. There's also Jungkook's new habit. He always makes sure Jimin eats enough. The staff even admitted that they often heard Jungkook say, "Hyung, don't just drink coffee. Eat right." And when the training session is over, when the other members go home to their dorm or home, Jungkook and Jimin were often left alone in the rehearsal room, playing their old songs while sitting back against the mirror. On one occasion, when the staff left the room to give them some alone time, Jungkook was heard vaguely speaking, "2 years is like 2 minutes to me, because every day I think only about you." Jimin did not answer immediately. He just lowered his head, holding back the rising emotions, then spoke slowly. "We're back, right? We're still us, right?" Jungkook nodded with a smile. "Always." HYB actually prepared a big surprise. Without fanfare, they arranged a secret concert that could only be attended by a few hundred lucky ARMY. This concert is not a concert with a grand stage, but rather an intimate concert, like an open rehearsal room, where the distance between BTS and ARMY is so close. During this secret concert rehearsal session, Jungkook whispered to Jimin, "Hyung, I don't need to be BTS's Jungkook here. I am enough to be me, and you're enough to be you." And Jimin replied with a slight smile, "That's what I've always wanted." On the day of the secret concert, the special song they had created during their enlistment was finally sung for the first time. The title is simple, "For You." This song was never released on digital platforms. Only the ARMY present had ever heard of it in person. The lyrics are letters they used to write. "You're the house I'm going to, my step back, the voice I've been waiting for, in silence I come home to you." The ARMY is crying. This song is not for the world. This song is only for those who are faithfully waiting, and for each other. After the secret concert, Jungkook and Jimin's mood seemed to get lighter. They returned to public appearances, but something changed in the way they looked at the world. For them, the stage is no longer just a place to show talent, but a place to go home, a place where they could find each other, and where they could return to the ARMY that had waited faithfully. A few days after the concert, in an unannounced live broadcast, Jungkook appeared with such a gentle smile. He looked calmer, as if all the burdens he had been carrying had been slowly lifted. He stared at the camera for a long time before finally saying, "We've been through a lot, right? But now, I can say for sure, I'm home. We're home." Before long, Jimin suddenly appeared beside her. No makeup, no preparation, just wearing a simple hoodie. He smiled slightly and patted Jungkook on the shoulder. Then, in a quiet voice that almost shook, he added, "The stage feels different when you're not there, Kook." Jungkook replied with a small laugh full of emotion, then spoke briefly, "I can't sing without you by my side." ARMY who watched the broadcast immediately flooded the comments with sentences full of love and tears. Many wrote, "Welcome home, Jungkook and Jimin. You two are our home too." They closed the broadcast with a song that they never published, a song that, Jimin said, would only be sung at a moment like this, a moment so personal, so warm, and so honest. The end of the broadcast. Jungkook smiled and said a phrase that left ARMY speechless. "We may often look happy on stage, but our happiness is deepest. It's always about who's standing next to us." Jimin looked at Jungkook for a moment. He nodded his head slowly, then said, "As long as you're here, I've had enough." That is a story that not many people know, a story that is not captured on camera, but lives in their hearts and the hearts of the ARMY who love them unconditionally. After the secret concert, rumors circulated that Jungkook and Jimin had actually recorded a studio version of the song, "For You," but decided never to release it globally. They keep the song for themselves, for memories, and perhaps to listen to again when they are old. In the last Weverse broadcast, Jungkook wrote, "Some songs you don't have to hear by ear. Enough with the heart." And Jimin added, "Some stories don't need to be told in words. Enough with the gaze." Now, although BTS has returned with major projects, this little behind-the-scenes story lives on. Jungkook and Jimin's relationship is getting stronger, deeper, and more sincere, being proof that love, friendship, and loyalty are the purest stories ever.